Hello there, awesome people. My name is Himang Joshi. I'm DeFi developer at Team Token Minds, and today I'm present over here to discuss about how we can unify Ethereum. And the first point is the ERC-7683. So if you not know about ERC-7683, then let's dive deep into it and how it is using how by using this web3 process can build seamless multi-chain experiences. So before that, let's understand why cross-chain interaction is still a mess. So let's imagine a scenario that you as a user want to switch from one chain to another chain. So in that case, what you're going to do is an obvious thing, which means that the users going to switch wallets, they're going to bridge, and then they're going to choose the chains manually. So bridging requires multiple steps, fees, and confirmations. Once it is done, they're again gonna switch the wallets. They're gonna bridge and then chain manually. So basically, you're using the same logic again and again and again and again. So it becomes a very tedious task. If I want to, let's say, bridge from Base to Ethereum, then I will have to first change my network always to Ethereum to Arbitrum. And if I don't have Arbitrum, in fact, in my MetaMask wallet, let's say the wallet I'm using is MetaMask, then I need to go and add that network first, and then I need to make sure that there are relevant funds in that wallet, and then so on. It's going to happen like that. So basically, what you 7683 is going to do is that it is trying to remove all these unnecessary experiences and give a better unifying experience for the users. So what if we didn't really need to move data between chains at all? This is really the intent of ERC 7683. In this, we don't really mean that we want to make the experience smoother. We think that what if there was really no need, like all the chains can talk automatically. And here we're not talking about messaging, we are actually talking about having a better intent. So what if the user never had to care about where the action happens? So basically, this introduced the cross-chain intents. So which means that the cross-chain intents are a new way for users to interact. Instead of sending a transaction on a specific chain, the user signs an off-chain messages that simply says what they want to achieve. For example, swap USDC on Arbitrum and receive ETH on Base. So what it's going to do is that this message is going to be picked up by solvers who compete to fulfill the request instantly using their own funds. So the settlement happens faster and later and securely on chain. So it's faster, simpler way to interact across chains without using bridges or switching network. So to a point to be noted here is that the user are not really sending any message from one chain to another. It is actually the intent which is getting sent from one chain to the baseline of the solvers, within which then it is going to be picked, and then the amount is going to be escrowed, and that amount is going to be used, and the whatever the transaction message is needed to be sent is going to be picked up by the other chain, and then it is going to be verified on that particular chain. So what it is doing is that intent is letting user request actions across chains, but apps and solver needs a standard to understand them, and for this needed, the creation of ERC 7683 came out in the picture, which defines how intents are created, shared, and fulfilled. So with this, we introduce a 7683, and the 7683, which defines how solvers and applications communicate about intents. So, just another point that I want to say is that this is still intent. It is not message, which means that nothing is really happening. There is no bridge formation happening between one chain to another, which means that you don't need to switch on your bridges and you don't need to select the change again and again. What you can do is that you can just simply use a transaction on your one chain, and then it is going to be picked up by the solvers. Then whoever is going to solve first is going to be uh, uh, credited and rewarded, and then the another chain is going to pick up the transaction and is going to verify on its own end. So to understand this, that there was a concept of 2 seconds rule. So across protocol and Uniswap protocol specifically made out and came into the picture to create this kind of intents. So what they did was that they created the intent which made sure that the timing is lesser than 2 seconds. So now how ERC-7683 powers cross-chain is that there is first the intent layers where the users sign an off-chain message describing what they want, like example cross-chain swap or anything else. Then comes the solvers who pick up the intent and complete to fulfill it using their own capital, and then the settlement layer is finally is on the chains and solvers are repaid. So to understand this thing, solvers are repaid a little later on. They're not getting the reward just then. So but since they are solvers, they can have some time to get rewarded. But whereas whatever intent what needed to be verified happens with less than in 2 seconds. So just to give you a scenario, let's say if you are using an airplane Wi-Fi and you want to open a website, and if that website tends to load longer than 2 seconds, then 51% of users drop out from it. So this is a survey made by Google itself. So that's why the 2 seconds number came into picture, and that is not just a number that we are coming out of any randomly. So now who is using this 7683? So basically Uniswap is using 7683 because they are the co-author of the standard, signaling long-term alignment with DeFi infrastructure. Then comes the Across protocol, which implements 7683 to enable instant cross-chain fulfillment with solvers. And then Optimism, which is an intent-based architecture aligned with the 7683's modular design. So why does 7683 adoption matters for Web3 founders? Because it reduces cross-chain complexity. So now you don't need to build custom bridging logic or maintain contacts across every chain. So let's say if you had a good user base on one chain, which is let's say Ton, but you want to enjoy the liquidity of another chain, which is Binance. So how you can combine it? So basically you can use 7683 and you don't need to create any custom logic bridges, which is very complex for a normal user to understand. And then it accelerates integration, which means that one shared standard means faster development and compatibility across rollups, L2s, and modular ecosystems, and then de-risk the architecture, which is backed by Uniswap across and Optimism, aligning with the Ethereum's future direction, and it unlocks new cases like supports new app patterns like automated solvers, intent marketplaces, and modular liquidity flows. So with this, we come to an end of the webinar. And if you want to build cross-chain apps with token mines, we are also on track with understanding how ERC-7683 can be adopted into apps, and we are out there in the forefront to provide service of it. So if you would like to have a cross-chain apps within your ecosystem or your DApp, then please reach out to us and we would like to take a discussion forward from there. Otherwise, stay tuned because every week we promise to deliver a webinar on cutting edge technology in a promise to keep you updated in real time. Thank you. See you again. Bye bye.